Hi, I'm Nick, and I'm a children's author from Cheshire. Today I'd like to read you a story about a little sheep called Tansy who can't get to sleep. It was midnight on the wild moors. The round white moon peeped over the clouds. The barn owl flew from tree to tree without making a sound. A cool night breeze rustled through the gorse bushes. All the sheep were fast asleep in the fields around Larktor Farm. Well, nearly all the sheep were fast asleep. Tansy was awake. She was wide awake. "Mum," whispered Tansy, "is it time to get up soon?" "No, it isn't," Tansy's mum sighed. "Go to sleep." Tansy sighed too. "But I can't go to sleep. I've forgotten how to do it." "Shut your eyes and think about something you like," groaned Tansy's mum with a wide yawn. Tansy shut her eyes and squeezed them tight. What did she like? She liked nibbling on sweet green grass. She liked chasing her sister Teasel around the big rock at the top of Larktor. She liked to feel the warm sun on her woolly back. She even liked to feel the raindrops drip, drip, dripping off her nose and ears. Tansy liked so many things, it wasn't easy to choose what to think about. She knew what she didn't like. She didn't like being awake when all the other sheep were asleep. Mum, I still can't go to sleep," whispered Tansy. Tansy's mum began to snore loudly. Tansy tiptoed over to her sister. "Are you awake, Teasel?" Tansy whispered. "No," grunted Teasel, keeping her eyes shut tight. "Go to sleep." "But I can't remember how to go to sleep," said Tansy sadly. "How do you do it?" "Take some deep breaths, like this. In slowly, out slowly, in slow..." Teasel began to snore loudly. "It's no good. I'm going to be awake all night," said Tansy crossly. "If you're wise, take my advice," hissed a voice from the sky. Tansy looked up and saw the barn owl gliding above. "If you can't sleep, try counting sheep," said the barn owl, and she flew off with a loud screech. "Ah!" Thought Tansy. "I might try that. If I'm quiet and creep about like that field mouse over there, I won't wake anyone up." So that's what Tansy did. Creeping, counting, she made her way around the field until she got to the last sheep. 19. 19 sheep? There were 20 sheep in Tansy's flock. One of the sheep was missing. Tansy thought about what might have happened to the missing sheep. Perhaps it had wandered off and got stuck in the bog on the shady side of Larktor. Perhaps a thief had sneaked into the field and popped the sheep into his big brown sack. Perhaps a gigantic crow had swooped down on the poor sheep. Perhaps the gigantic crow was carrying it back to an enormous nest right now. "Wake up, everyone," cried Tansy. "There's a sheep missing." All the sheep woke up at once. They jumped to their feet and began to run around the field in a panic. "Sheep missing! Missing sheep! Sheep missing! Missing sheep!" Some sheep were weeping. Some sheep were bleating. Some sheep thought that they were still asleep and dreaming. All the sheep were bumping into each other. It was mayhem. "Oh no," thought Tansy. "This won't help to find the missing sheep." "You keep calm, I'll fly to the farm," called the barn owl from a nearby tree. "I'll fetch Jack and we'll both be back." The barn owl glided across the valley to the farmyard. Jack the sheepdog was in his kennel, dreaming of tickles behind his ears. "Emergency, quick, follow me," screeched the barn owl. Jack jumped straight up and bounded after her. Back in the field, the sheep were still running about here, there and everywhere. Jack rounded them up in no time. "What's this about a missing sheep?" he barked. "Stand in line." The sheep stood in a row. 1, 2, 3. Jack counted along the row and all the way up to 20. Jack was standing in front of Tansy. "I think we found the missing sheep," he said kindly. "Did you forget to count yourself, Tansy?" Tansy's snow-white face went bright red. She felt very silly. It was 3 o'clock in the morning on the wild moors. The round white moon peeped over the clouds. The barn owl flew from tree to tree without making a sound. A cool night breeze rustled through the gorse bushes. All the sheep were wide awake in the fields around Larktor Farm. Well, nearly all the sheep were wide awake. Tansy was asleep. She was fast asleep. I hope you enjoyed that story. It was written by my good friend Marion Adams and illustrated by Sarah Lee Wills.